A Fort Wayne couple tried for years to start a family. Like many who struggle with infertility, they suffered in silence. But in opening up, they learned of a possibility, and they shared their story with me to try to bring hope to others. Jeff and Rachel Roy's beginning plays out like a Disney movie.
Well, it started, we met in October of 2007. In our first date, we both knew right away, like, this is the real deal.
But a few years into their happily ever after, they met their villain. They were trying to start a family, but they couldn't get pregnant.
What kind of testing did we do? I was tested, he was tested, I had a surgery to be tested.
Their diagnosis, unknown. After all that.
Yep.
After all that.
For 9 years, Rachel and Jeff tried to have a baby. They kept their struggle with infertility secret, like it was somehow shameful.
Be like, are you gonna have kids? And like, I would cry.
They watched as friends and relatives started their own families. And finally, they opened up.
I'm like crying and thinking about this.
Rachel and Jeff learned they weren't alone. In fact, the CDC estimates 6 million women in the U.S. have difficulty getting or staying pregnant.
People just don't talk about it.
In sharing their story, not only did Rachel and Jeff find a community, they found an opportunity. Rachel knew someone who had adopted a frozen embryo. At least 1 million embryos are in storage right now, left over from couples who have done in vitro fertilization. A handful of clinics like the National Embryo Adoption Center in Tennessee store donated embryos and then adopt them to couples like Rachel and Jeff.
That was the thing too, we always thought we might adopt, but I just really wanted to be pregnant. Like, I wanted to experience those kicks and the morning sickness. I wanted all of that, and so to be able to carry her, like when they told us we were pregnant, I think I cried for like days straight. It was just such a blessing and a miracle. I mean, I can breastfeed her. Like, that's crazy that can happen.
What's mommy doing?
And like any good Disney movie, there's a sequel in the works.
Starting the process of going back down for another transfer and for her siblings. So she has a sibling still on ice that was frozen. Ugh.
Same time she was.
Same time. And so we want to go back as soon as we can to grab that sibling so she'll have a full blood sibling. Isn't that amazing?